Have you ever thought, man, if only I had better suspension, I would totally send this drop? I know I have. Ah! That's why I picked up this all-new 2022 RXF34 that cost a whopping $1,300. But is it even worth it to spend over $1,000 on forks? Let's find out. So why would someone spend over $1,000 on a suspension fork? Even the cheap forks these days have an air spring with rebound and compression adjustments, just like my new Ohlins. Well, I believe that extra money is spent for a super nice, highly engineered damper. A shock damper controls the speed that the wheel moves up and down. Oil inside the damper has to pass through a series of holes when the fork is compressed, and a different set of holes when the fork rebounds to full extension. Top model forks have dampers with a bunch of adjustments. High and low speed compression, and high and low speed rebound. A lot of people think that these high and low speed adjustments are for how fast you're going, but it's actually for how fast the wheel is moving up and down. Low speed movements are considered to be gradual changes. So if you're going 20 miles per hour and start going up a hill, the fork will gradually compress. Other gradual movements are pedaling, braking, cornering, and jumping. Basically all the movements from the rider. But I will say, my favorite adjustment out of all those is low speed compression. If you've ever gone up to a jump and tried to pull up, but instead the bike bogs down and it feels like it absorbs the entire lip, that's when increasing low speed compression would come in handy. But if you have a low or mid-tier fork, they usually don't have that adjustment. So you might be wondering, why did I even buy the Ohlins if my Fox 34 already has all the adjustments? Well, after months on the Fox 34, I just think it's too plush for my liking. And I wasn't planning on comparing the two, but then I saw the Ohlins box. The original gold. Those are some fighting words if you ask me. And at the end of this video, I'll decide which one I'm gonna keep and the other one I'm gonna sell. Only one fork will survive. First off, the features. And this is where Ohlins is already starting to lose points. Both shocks are 29-inch air forks with 34mm stanchions, and they weigh about the same when you factor in Ohlins needing a caliper adapter. The Ohlins fork has 15 clicks of low-speed compression and 3 clicks of high-speed compression. The Fox 34 also has 15 clicks of low speed, but 8 clicks of high speed. So the more expensive Ohlins has less adjustability? That's gonna be a half-point deduction. For the rebound, the Ohlins fork has 1 rebound knob, but the Fox 34 has 2, low speed and high speed rebound. When a fork only has 1 rebound knob, that means it controls only the low speed rebound and the high speed rebound is set by the factory. Low speed rebound controls the first 2/3 of your travel, and that's where most of the time is spent when riding. And high speed rebound is mainly for the big hits in the last third of your travel. Missing an entire rebound adjustment seems like a pretty big deal, but who knows, maybe the factory adjustment could be amazing, so I'm only gonna deduct a half a point. Next up is the looks, and this is where Ohlins was talking smack. The Fox 34 has the iconic gold stanchions that are basically a status symbol, and I customized mine with gold stickers, and I love it. So they get a 4.875 on looks because they don't come in matte black anymore. The original gold fork over here is basic matte black with only 2 goldish accent pieces. If you look at their off-road lineup, they have the most amazing shocks you've ever seen, so it's very puzzling why this fork looks the same as an entry-level fork. Also, I'm a bit disappointed that the stickers came crooked. For a $1,300 fork, I expect near perfection. So overall, this gets a 3 out of 5 on looks. So the Ohlins fork is already behind in 2 categories, but the next category is the most important, the feel. So let's install this thing. just like that, the install is complete. The new weight of the bike is 28.6 pounds, and the total cost of the bike is up to $9,600. But let's go see how it rides. Oh man, just going down this first hill and my wrists are killing me. Either this $1,300 Ohlins is a hunk of junk, or I need to set up this fork way different. Oh, ow, I cannot ride it like this. That was a huge miss on setting up this fork. And what was happening is, over the trail chatter, the fork felt super harsh and stiff at the top of the stroke, with 89 PSI to get 30% sag. So I took off the air cap and added another volume spacer that came with the fork. This allowed me to lower the PSI by 13 to achieve the same sag, 30%. All right, let's see if that fixed the problem. Oh yeah, I can feel the extra token is already so much better off the top. Ah. All right, let's hit it. Oh man, that was almost disastrous. I was trying to get good pop for the camera, but I was just going too slow and it went straight into that cactus, but luckily I avoided it. That could have been way worse. And the bike, well, the bars are just a little bit crooked, so let's keep riding. Even though I had a little bit of a mishap, I still got a pretty good feel for the fork over the last 2 weeks. With the volume spacer, the fork was much softer at the top of the stroke, and I was able to crank up my low speed compression for some really good support for jumping and pedaling. It also felt like it handled the drop to flat very well, and I didn't feel any noticeable flex like I did with the Fox 34. So overall, I give the fork a 5 out of 5 on feel. So is a super expensive fork the answer, and is this Ohlins worth a few hundred more than the Fox 34? Well, the answer to both is maybe. You gotta be looking for something very specific like I was and wanting a more supportive fork for jumping. As for the overall ratings, I'm actually changing the looks of the fork to 4 out of 5 because they've kind of grown on me over the last 2 weeks, and I think they look better than the Fox forks. So even though the Ohlins has less adjustability than the Fox, I don't feel like it made any difference, and it has everything I want in a fork. But like I said earlier, I have to decide which one I'm gonna keep and which one is going bye-bye. And the winner is the Ohlins RXF34. And follow me on Instagram. It only took me 2 years to make an account. And if you want to buy this Ohlins fork for yourself, check my affiliate link below. Worldwide Cyclery also has a ton of other crazy deals like this Pike Ultimate, marked down to $750. And for sneak previews for future episodes, become a channel member, but I think I need a better rear shock now.